Hi, I'm Shannon from houseimprovements.com. Is your garage door making a lot of noise or squeaking? Well, maybe all you need to do is add a little bit of white lithium grease to all the pivot points to stop that squeaking. Once you do this, it may take a few times opening and closing the door to kind of work it in there to get rid of your squeaks, but this should do a lot of the work pretty easily. So you want to use a white lithium grease. Try to avoid a product like, let's say, and I'm not bashing them or anything, but you want to kind of avoid a WD-40. They're normal spray anyways, just because WD-40 is more of a moisture inhibitor than it is actually a grease of any kind. So this here will actually leave some usable grease in the pivot points that should last for a while. So we want to grease the pivot points like I said, like any mid hinges you have, rollers on the outside, and as you can see, you want to wear some safety glasses just because you might get some residual spray back from the door. And I've got a rag with me as well to clean up any overspray that I get so it's not running or dripping anywhere. So we're going to do those pivot points. We're going to actually do the main spring if you have a spring like that on your door, and as well as the top of the guide rail of the garage door opener. Okay, so you just want to use your straw, basically get into these joints on here and out here. You want to get right in, out. Some of you might have really good actual bearings that you can see on your rollers. On this particular door and a lot of residential doors, there's just basically a nylon roller jammed on the end of this cap. I don't know if there's really even a bearing in there, but anyways, you want to spray some lube in there and here and in these pivot points. So okay, so just give a little, you don't need a ton of it. Just get a little bit in there. So that you can visibly see some. Right in out here under the roller. And there's a pivot point here. Pivot point here. And in where the shaft goes, you want to get some in there, and this is what I'm saying about getting a little bit spray happy there. You get a little bit of spray back. So I'm going to go around and hit all the points, and then we'll get a ladder and work up top. Okay, so once you've got all the pivot points on the door, you're going to have one more right up here. There's a pin. And there's another pin right here. These ones aren't real critical, but while you're doing it, you might as well give them a shot. And then you've got you might have one or maybe even two springs up there. So you want to give it a bit of a coat along the top edge. And once you've worked the door a few times, it'll work itself in as the spring moves around. But if you put it on the top, at least it has a chance to work through it. If you put it down here, chances are you're just going to get some dripping coming off the bottom. So I think I got as much on me as I did on the spring. Wipe that off the back wall. I didn't put a ton on there. We'll maybe get a picture of that afterwards and insert it just so you can kind of see what I got on there, but it'll just work its way in there a little bit once you've worked the door, like I said. Now the other spot that is worth doing, now most openers, the top edge of this bar, it might be a pipe, in this case it's a rectangular bar, is where most of the pressure is. You might get some resistance a little bit on the sides and the bottom, but most of it's all going to be on the top. So a little bit of lube on the top where the guide puts the pressure on it. It's going to be the best. Most openers do have a nylon guide in there, but it still doesn't hurt to have a little bit of lube on the top of the rail. I don't know if any dripped over the side there or not, but just wipe along there. I'm not wiping the lube off the top. We want that to stay on there, and that'll work in with the opener operating a couple times. So that's just a really quick way of getting some of the squeaks and groans out of your garage door, and prolonging the life of your rollers and all the pivot points as well. So hopefully you liked that video. Click the little thumbs up button there if you don't mind, if you did enjoy it. You can subscribe to our channel. You can follow us on all our social media. And if you want to maybe give us a little bit of a hand to keep making all these great videos, you can check out our Patreon link in the description below as well. Thanks a lot for watching today. Are you serious? Do you seriously have me in the picture? Like, it looks like you're like pointing down there. Really?
Door in for start.